We've been learning different ways to calculate the scalar product, and then we've also looked at how we can use that to find the angle between vectors and to tell if vectors are perpendicular or not. Now we're going to look at some of the properties of this dot product or scalar product. It's very similar to multiplication, so the same rules apply. A dot B is the same as B dot A. Doesn't matter which one goes first. Also, when we've got an algebraic situation like this, we break the bracket in the same way as we would with multiplication. So A dot brackets B plus C is the same as A dot B plus A dot C. We expand the brackets just as we would normally in algebra. A dot A is the same as the magnitude of A squared. And that's because the angle between A and itself is 0 and the cosine of 0 is 1. So we're just multiplying by the magnitude of A multiplied by the magnitude of A. So it's the magnitude of A squared. These properties are not given to you in the exam. These are things that you need to know. And there's a certain style of question that will require these facts. But just remember the properties are the same as multiplication, with a little bit of memory on this last one here. In this question, we're given a diagram with a little bit of additional information. The magnitude of P is 3, so this length is 3. The magnitude of R is 4, and the magnitude of Q is 2. On the diagram, we've given additional information about the angles involved. So between P and R, we've got 45 degrees. Between R and Q, we've got 15. And that means that between P and Q, we've got 60, because we've got them all together. We're asked to calculate P dot brackets Q plus R. So we're going to be thinking of this just like we do with multiplication. So P dot brackets Q plus R is the same as P dot Q plus P dot R. So we're going to work out what P dot Q and P dot R are individually, and then we're going to come back to this equation. P dot Q is equal to cos of the angle in between multiplied by the magnitude of P multiplied by the magnitude of Q. This is given to us on the formula sheet. Now between P and Q we have an angle of 60 degrees. So this is equal to the cos of 60 multiplied by the magnitude of P, which is 3, multiplied by the magnitude of Q, which is 2. Cosine of 60 is a half, so it's half times 6, which gives us an answer of 3. So that's P dot Q. Now we're going to find P dot R, and we're going to add them together. So P dot R is equal to the cosine of the angle between the two vectors multiplied by the magnitude of P multiplied by the magnitude of R. In between we've got 45 degrees, so this is the cos of 45 multiplied by P, which is 3, multiplied by R, which is 4. The cosine of 45 degrees is root 2 over 2 multiplied by 12. So this is going to give us the same as 6 root 2. So now I can go back to what I originally started with. P dot Q plus P dot R equals 3 plus 6 root 2. And I can leave it in that form because it's a non-calculator question. In our final question, we're given another diagram. We have a triangle with three vectors A, B and C. We're given the two angles are 30 degrees. It's a nice isosceles triangle. We know that all triangles, the angles add up to 180, so if they're both 30, this one must be 120, I might need to know that. And we're asked to calculate A dot A plus B plus C. So let's just see what we need to work out. Well, remembering that when I expand this, it works in the same way as algebra, so A dot A plus A dot B plus A dot C. A dot A, remember, is the same as the magnitude of A squared. A dot B, now I'm going to just quickly check the diagram. A and B, they're both coming away from this angle, so that's good. So I'm just going to use my formula. It's going to be the cosine of 30 multiplied by the magnitude of A, which is 2, multiplied by the magnitude of B, which is 2 root 3, plus A dot C. Again, I'm just going to check my diagram. A is going into the angle, C is coming out. Remember, I need them to both be leaving the angle. If one's the wrong way round, it's going to be a negative. So I'm actually just going to put a negative there and I'll sort these signs out on the next line. Cosine of the angles in between, well, we worked out that's 120 degrees, multiplied by the magnitude of A, which is 2, and the magnitude of C, which is also 2. So the magnitude of A squared, well, the magnitude of A is 2, so that's going to be 4, plus the cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2, multiplied by 2 times root 3, which is 4 times root 3, plus minus cos 120. Now cos 120 is negative a half. So I'm adding negative a half, which means I've got plus a half times 4. I can cancel a little bit here. And so I've got 4 plus, going to be 2 times root 3, which is just 3, plus a half times 4, which is 2. So I've got 4 plus 6 plus 2, which gives me a final answer of 12. Let's just quickly check your understanding by multiplying out this bracket. So can you express this in a different way, expanding the bracket? And what is B dot B the same as?